Hey, hello, my dear YouTube friends. How are you doing today? I'm doing fine. I'm tired, but what's new? What else is new, right? I'm sorry that this Wip Chat is a little late. I tried filming several times yesterday, and apparently I was just too tired because I found myself keep losing track and starting to talk about I don't know what in the middle of you me telling you something. I just start talking about something else. So sorry about the delay. Anyway, welcome. This is a Wip Chat, and if you don't know what a Wip Chat is, WIP stands for Work in Progress. This is my work in progress. And if you're back, hi friends. I'm so happy to see you. And if you're new, hi, welcome. My name is Mia. I live in Denmark with my husband and four cats. Four cats, sorry. I'm tired. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. There's a subscribe button right down there. Next to it, you will find a bell. If you ding that and choose all, you'll be notified whenever I put up a new video. And please, everybody, give me that thumbs up. Hit that like button. It really does help the channel. So, yeah, please do that. So, what do we have here? This is a Diamond Art Club kit, and it is called The Boy Who Lived. It is a 56 by 79 centimeter. And where am I? I am about here, I think. You can see his scarf and the flowers. So, yeah, about here, I think. So, Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. This one was gifted to me by Mary. Mary making craft here on YouTube. Her channel is linked down below. So please go check her out. She also has an Etsy shop where she sells putty and minders. That shop is called Mary Making and More. Yeah. So yeah. Let's talk about what I'm gonna use today. I have my trusted, I had a loose drill. I have my trusted Bella Nicole tray. Loving this. I also have another one over here in another color because apparently I decided to place a bunch of drills where they weren't supposed to be, so they're in here because they're a little sticky. What else am I gonna use? I'm gonna use my Enablers Outpost diamond painting pen. It has a single placer from Diamond Art Club and a three placer from Diamond Art Club. In the single placer I have a glue dot, and up here I have my own homemade putty. What else? I am gonna use some tweezers. These pink ombre ones are from Diamond Art Club. I love to place drills, diamonds with these. And these one are from AliExpress, an old kit that I bought a long time ago. And they're perfect if I need to pick up any drills. And I think that's about it. And I do have my little beautiful pewter tray for my trash drills. And I don't really have a whole lot of trash in this drill. I have a hair stuck in here. So yeah, cute little tray. I've made my square today rather small just because otherwise we won't seem to get anywhere, right? So let's get a move on. I'm gonna pick my first color. This is number 141. This is an AB drill. In Diamond Art Club's numbering system, anything below 150 is an AB drill, an Aurora Borealis drill. And look at that shine. I love it. So, how are you guys doing today? So me, I'm doing fine besides, being tired. I got to get up early today, about 1.5 hour early. I wasn't a fan, But I had to go to see I had to go to my general practitioner's office because every year I get to go and get some blood work done and an EKG and all of that, just because I have a high blood pressure and I'm taking some morphine medicine. So they need to make sure that everything is okay and blah, blah, blah. So I have to do that once a year. Hopefully some of it will go away now since I'm not taking methadone anymore. So I have to talk to my nurse about that next week when I go to her to get the answers. I got some of them already in my... we have an app that is called My Doctor, and we also have an app called My Health. And all the lab work that they do, I can access that. So some of the answers has already come in. They started popping up a few hours after I came home. And usually they'd be like, don't, look at them if you don't know what you're looking at. And, if they might scare you. I don't know. I know what I'm looking at. And nothing scares me, really. Because, yeah, they're numbers. And if I don't know what, I have one of the tests that I keep forgetting every time what that means. And I need to go, Google what is this, and yeah. So the numbers that I've gotten so far are normal, which is good. I was a little worried because 2023 has been the year from hell due to all the stuff going on with my mother-in-law. So we haven't really, been watching our diet, and I haven't been out walking and stuff like that because I just haven't had the mental capacity. My brain has been on my mother-in-law most of the year. So yeah. So I'm grateful that it isn't bad. I kind of expected it to be not the best numbers, but so far so good. Even my I don't know, is it called ELAT in English too? Some of my liver numbers, they've gone down significantly. I mean, for years they have been elevated. I mean, I can't even remember a year where they haven't been elevated. And all of a sudden, they're down in normal. And I'm like, wait, what happened here? I don't get it. What? I mean, and David was like, yeah, well, you don't take the methadone anymore. I'm like, no, that's not it. Because my numbers there were elevated even before I got that. But I don't know. But I can't complain. They're normal. I mean, I don't know what happened there. We'll see. Maybe next year they're slightly elevated, because it's just slightly elevated. It isn't like very, very high. I tried that during, what was that? During COVID or before COVID? I can't remember. My levels were enormous high, and everybody was like, oh, you might have liver failure and blah, blah. All these, you're gonna die stuff that doctors sometimes tend to walk themselves into. So I needed to go to have a liver scan, and everything was normal. So they didn't really understand why I had that highly elevated numbers, because it continued for months. It wasn't just that one night. I had to go to my doctor for, I don't know, what was it, every 4 or 5 weeks I had to get blood drawn, which to me is kind of not very funny because I'm afraid of needles. I've gotten better. They actually are allowed to draw my blood now. They only get one try, but they are permitted to, which for years nobody got near me with a needle. I mean, nobody. Not without me more or less being out. So yeah, I'm getting good, or whatever you want to say. Is that it? Is that it? No more for us? No more for us. So yeah, I have to wait. And the technician that did my EKG wouldn't tell me anything. I think she's new. Well, I haven't seen her before because usually they will tell me, you know, it's okay, or, you know, it's within normal range or something. But she wouldn't tell me anything. You have to wait to your nurse appointment next week. I'm like, darn it, woman. I mean, I've never had issues. My high blood pressure medicine is working very, very well. And I also got the pleasure of having to take my blood pressure for 3 days. So I have to do that. I mean, I take my blood pressure regularly, just, you know, to make sure everything is okay. But now I have to do it twice a day, 3 times, 5-minute intervals. And that is a bummer because I keep forgetting it. So sometimes I'm like, you have to do it right when you wake up or when you just get out of bed. And my life isn't always that, you know. I get up and the kittens need to get food and we're needing breakfast and stuff like that. And all of a sudden times, you know, it's been an hour and a half. So maybe, I mean, sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, I'll just go lie down 10 minutes or so and then I'm going to take it. I mean, that's more or less the same, right? Plus, I have a drill here where the coating is on the wrong side. Can you see that? No, you can't. That happens sometimes with these Aurora Borealis ones. The coating ends up on the back side. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I need to keep those out here. I'm keeping them out here just to see how many numbers of colors I'm using. The highest number I've had is 38. And this canvas has 55. Yeah, 55 colors. And I had 38 in one square like this. So yeah, I was kind of, you know, impressed that I had that many colors in a tiny square. So we'll see. I just had one over here where I had like 5 colors, you know. So I'm like, okay, from 5 colors to 38. Okay. Oh yeah, by the way, I am using these Elizabeth Ward containers. I totally forgot to say that. But yeah. That's kind of, I think it's kind of funny that there is this big difference. But I don't mind. I mean, you know, I love confetti. I love colors. I love, yeah. I don't mind single placing at all. Hang on. Don't I have? There you go. I was like, do I only have to place just a few 7s? Sometimes it's you don't have to place a whole lot because I'm doing this checkerboard, and every now and then it's like because of the the checkerboarding method, no, not method. You decide, do I start here or there? So sometimes I'm just lucky enough to hit only a few of them, and then everything else needs to be filled in when I'm going to fill in, the colors when I'm done with my checkerboarding. I still find this kind of funny, doing the entire square before filling in. It's kind of, yeah. I think it's fun to see, all the colors blended in and then filling it out. But maybe I have a lot of color blocking down here and up here. So I might, decide to practice my color blocking, my multi-placing. Not color blocking, my color blocking. Oh my God. My multi-placing. See, I'm tired. I can't speak today. I can't brain. Isn't that what somebody said? My brain can't brain. Oh, I need to, maybe I do that later when it's dark outside. Go out and do a short video or something of some of, it isn't done yet, but David has put up a bunch of our Halloween decorations, and it's looking good. So we hope to get a lot of kits this year because it's fun. We didn't do it last year because it was a Monday and Rosa and I had gymnastics on Mondays. So I wasn't home until quite late compared to when the kids, start going out to trick or treat. So I was like, yeah, well, this year we just won't do it, which some of our neighbors was a little disappointed because they had gotten used to us the year before, even though we've just been here. I mean, this is our third Halloween out here. So they were like, oh, you did so much last year, and what happened to all the decorations? And we were like, well, I mean, you can't really decorate if you aren't home. Oh, but we told everybody to come, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean, they need to wait. Maybe next year. If everything pans out, then next year will be Halloweening again. So here we are, Halloweening. Yeah. The first year we had so many kids drop by. Remember, we live in a village. There is about, I don't know, in our little owners association, we have around 200 houses. And I mean, a lot of the houses out here is owned by elderly people. But we had more than 60 kids drop by on Halloween 2 years ago. So that was a lot. The youngest was about a year and a half, maybe. It was so adorable. His dad was with him, and my heart just melted with that little boy, who was out there and me being like, "Dick-a-deet." He was so cute. Oh, I hope he comes back so I can see how much he'd grown in 2 years, because that was adorable. We did have a lot of teens and, tweens. Most of the kids were like 6 to 13, I think. And we didn't have any that wasn't, in costumes. And if we had any in costumes, I would have told them, go home, get in your costume, and come back. Because I won't give out any treats if they aren't in a costume. I mean, that's cheating, right? Call me weird, but it's the same. We have in February, we have this, it's kind of like Halloween, but it's an old Danish tradition where kids dress up and, they walk around for houses and sing a song to get, most of the time when I was growing up, you got money. I mean, coins, not a whole lot of money, but yeah, you got coins, and sometimes you got an apple or something like that. It wasn't, it was fun. It was kind of, I don't know. It's different from Halloween. I mean, I don't know. And you just knocked on people's doors. They didn't need to have any decorations or anything. It was just cozy. And if people, I mean, people knew that that was the day when kids came, and if they didn't want to hear kids sing and give out, I don't know, like 1 Danish kroners or 2, they just didn't open. We lived in downtown, the big town where we lived nearby. Back then, my family and I, and the street that we lived in, and the part of the street, were again mostly elderly people, and we've grown up there, so they have known us. I mean, my brother was a baby when we moved in. He was maybe 4 months old when we moved in, and I've been around 3. And we've been, our entire life was around that block. We had friends. Sometimes some of the neighbors looked after us, stuff like that. So we have known these people our entire lives. So when we walked around singing that little song, people always opened, kind of like they knew we were coming, and we were invited in for a soda or, and back then it was normal. Today you would never allow your children to get in people's houses, even because sometimes we walked into people we didn't know that well, but you did that back then. I mean, this was in the 80s. The world was safe, well, safer. And I mean, sometimes we knew people, but our parents didn't. So, yeah, the world was just different, okay? But you would never do that today. You would never allow your children to walk into people's houses that I'm aware of, at least. But yeah, that was the world back then. But it was fun. We walked around and we were, being spoiled rotten by these people that we knew. And then we, took off to the nearby streets, roads, whatever you want to call them. And, that would be a Danish kroner, or maybe, 50, 0.50 Danish kroners. That was a lot of money back then. And then when we came home, that money would go in our piggy bank to buy, I don't know, things that we wanted, things that we needed, maybe get some weekend candy. I don't know. I mean, it was just a different kind of Halloween. And you weren't supposed to be scary. You were kind of like supposed to be cute or funny or something like that. I was, 1 year I was a boxer. So I was in a house coat. I had my dad's boxing gloves around my neck. I was in shorts in February, remind you, February. Then I had some leggings under it. I had this tank top on, and then my mom had given me a big shiner, drawn it on with makeup, and, some scars, and I was beautiful. I'm telling you guys, I was beautiful. Another year, I was a cleaning lady. I've been a Smurf. No, wait, that was my brother. He was a Smurf 1 year when he was little. I guess I've always also been a princess when I was younger. But when I got older, I was kind of, deciding myself what I wanted to be. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, I don't even know how to explain that, what it's called. But it was fun. So yeah, but I really do hope that we get a lot of kits for Halloween. We haven't really had a lot of kits here for that in February. Did you hear that? That's my cats. Yeah, we need to take Spock to the vet again on Tuesday because he keeps peeing all over the house. And by now I feel like he's just ruining the house. And I don't know what to do. So I called the vet again yesterday. When was that? We were at the vet Thursday. Was it Thursday? I think it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, so we were at the vet Thursday, and we brought Spark because he was still peeing, and the medicine that he had gotten the first time wasn't working, apparently, obviously, since he kept peeing all over the place. So we brought him, and we also brought Max and Pelle because they needed their yearly shots and checkups. So yeah, and then the vet gave Spark a antibiotic treatment just to make sure that wasn't the case, even though he told me a while back then only 2 out of 100 cases of a urine infection needs antibiotics because most of it is comes from stress. But we have Feely Way, we have everything. So he's like, yeah, I don't get it. So yeah, he has to go over on Tuesday morning. I need to get up really early because he's supposed to be there at 8:30 in the morning. And then he's going to stay there so they can pick a urine sample and they can, do some blood work just to make sure, and we need to know what's going on because this can't, it can't go on anymore. I mean, like I said, he's basically ruining our house. I mean, I run around every day, all day, trying to figure out where he peed so I can clean it. We most likely have to, get a new rug, not rug, but carpet in our TV room because I can't find out where that smell comes from in there, and I hate it. But I won't do anything until, he's gotten better. But the thing is, if our vet can't find out what's wrong with him and stop it, there is only one solution. We hate it. We really hate it. But that just means that he isn't healthy, he isn't well. So we'd have to send him to the rainbow, right? And it's breaking our hearts because he's an adorable baby kitten. Well, he's not a kitten anymore, but, all our cats are like kittens. They're our babies. And he's so soft. He's kind of like a chinchilla soft. And he's adorable, and he's safe with us. I mean, he hates other people, but around us and Rosa, he's safe, and he's purring and a lap cat and all these good and nice things. But he's just peeing our house to pieces, and that's not working. And I hate myself for having to say that, that we might even consider having to send him to the Rainbow Bridge. I mean, he's just 2. He's 2.5. He's a baby. So that isn't, very fun to think about that. But then again, I mean, also, he's kind of very jealous, especially around Pelle, the ginger cat. And we also need to take care of him because he might end up being stressed and get urine infections and stuff like that. And sometimes he's scared of that little pea cat. And then that is not supposed to, he isn't supposed to be afraid in his own, he's not afraid. He's just lenient. He's withdrawing whenever Spark runs, because if I talk to Pelle, he'll come running, kind of like, you can't talk to my mommy, kind of like that. Very, very jealous. I'm not, well, the same for David. We're not allowed to talk to the other cats without talking to him as well. And Pelle doesn't do well with that. He just withdraws every time. And I mean, he was here first. He's older than Spark. So I'm like, you need to know your place because there is a hierarchy. There's always a hierarchy within a group of cats. So it's kind of like Max is the oldest, so he's the boss. Then we have Pelle, he's 3 years old. And then we have the babies, Spark and Flox. They are 2.5. Pelle, 3.5. Well, that means Max is 6.5. Pelle is 3.5. And Spark and Flox is 2.5. So reality would be that Spark and Flox would be, the last ones in the hierarchy. Not that they get beaten up or anything. They're just not, top cat. That is Max. But Spark doesn't really seem to get that. He's like, I'm the boss of this house. And he's kind of sometimes terrorizing the other ones, chasing them around. Sometimes it's just, play and stuff like that. But not with Pelle. I mean, sometimes they're, you can hear when Cat doesn't think this is fun anymore. And we need to get out there and kind of separate them, And, yeah. That's not how it's supposed to be. But we'll have to see what the vet has to say. I forgot a tea. Sorry, I was just yawning just to try something new. So yeah, that is Tuesday. We'll have to see what the answer is going to be. We've been talking, is there something with his kidneys, his bladder, does he have a disease, something like that, that can explain that kind of behavior. Because it's really about him wanting to dominate the house, I think. Because he's peeing in the corners of the house, Kind of like, but the funny thing is, they are all neutralized, so he wouldn't really supposed to be having that urge to dominate. So we're kind of like, what is going on here? We don't get it. But we have to see. We have an amazing vet. I called him by mistake because he has a cell phone number, and I accidentally called that one yesterday, and he called back with, I hung up quickly. But he called back and like, I was just by my phone and sorry. And like, I'm sorry, it was really the nurses I was supposed to call, but now I have you. Is it normal that when you get that antibiotic that it gets worse before it gets better? He was like, no, it's supposed to get better. Okay, well then we have an issue. Because yesterday it was kind of like from 1 minute to the other. I mean, like Monday there was nothing. He was just, kind of like normal, peeing in the corners a little. But yesterday it was every 10 minutes or so. I was like, I put myself on Spock duty. I was just sitting there watching him, having my phone nearby, just watching him. Well, I was looking at my phone, entertaining myself, but not, away in it. I was just reading some articles and stuff like that while keeping an eye on him. And every time he started moving around, I was following him around, just to make sure, okay, where are you going to sit and pee? And the thing is, we've put out this tiny litter box. Sadly, they all use it. It drives us bonkers, because he stopped using the robot. We have litter robots, and it's normal, if they see their old litter box, they connect that with their pain or something, they won't use them. So we put up that, smaller litter box that he had when he was a kitten, and he's been using it. I mean, but he'd begun sitting just right next to it instead of going into it, He would dig in the litter and just sit next to it and pee. And he did that again yesterday, but I was right there, so I grabbed him and sat him in the litter so that it was only a drop or two that ended on the floor, which I wiped away right away and cleaned it. And he just sat there, He didn't run off like I kind of expected him to do, because he probably connects that litter box with pain now. But he didn't, and he was sitting there, and he squeaks a little when he's trying to pee. I need to remember to tell them that on Tuesday. On Tuesday. Kind of like, in pain. And he's only peeing a little every time. So, there has to be something. But he had already, he was scanned 3 weeks or so, well, maybe a month ago by now. And they scanned his bladder to see, if there was any stones in his bladder that needed removal. And there was nothing. There wasn't even any teeny tiny ones. It was like his bladder looks healthy. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe some stones have come since, but then again, I mean, our vet was like, they don't usually pop up that fast. I don't know. I have to wait and see. But, something is hurting him when he's peeing, which it isn't supposed to. And I'm kind of like, I'm going to call the vet, and I'm going to tell them to take him in right away. And that doesn't work because they don't, they need to have the time to do them. So he has to wait. But, yeah, my baby isn't doing well. And I hate to think about what might need to be done if he can't figure out what's wrong with him. Or if he's really sick, Because he's just a baby. But I'm trying to be optimistic, kind of like, okay, he's going to figure out what's wrong with Spock, and he's going to get better, and yay, He's going to start using the litter robots again, and no more peeing all around the house, and yeah. Let's see. So, what else? Yeah, Monday was Rosa Day, finally again. She's been sick for 2 Mondays, and the Monday before that I was sick. So basically she hadn't been here. It'd been 4 weeks since I saw her last. So I was like, I need my baby. And she was so happy to see me, which was nice because I was so happy to see her as well. There weren't a whole lot of kids in her kindergarten yesterday because it's fall, autumn vacation in Denmark. That happens every year in week 42. In old times, that was the... Did I just forget a bunch of them? I did. In olden days, which is where this fall vacation stems from, this was the time where you were out harvesting potatoes. So a lot of kids, came in from the country, farmlands around the schools, and they needed, kids was just not showing up for that week because children back then, helped out on their parents' farms. So eventually it was just decided that every year at that week, the kids got off because they needed to help their parents at home. And it just stuck, even though today you have machines for it and kids don't help out on the farms. It's basically just a tradition now. And it's counted in how many weeks kids go to school every year. So, yeah, that's this week. So there was also no gymnastics on Monday because vacation. So yeah, but it was good, it turned out, because Rosa was so tired she didn't get her midday nap. Like she needs it, but the kindergarten isn't really, keeping to it. It's kind of like they ask her, do you want to go take a nap? And she just says no, instead of just, putting her in the nap room and keeping her there until she falls asleep. Because he needs it. She was so tired when I picked her up at 2:30. So I was like, so are we just gonna hang out and watching some TV? And she was like, yes, auntie. I was like, she was so tired. So we came home and she was getting up in the lounge chairs we have in our TV room. And she was just, hanging. She didn't fall asleep right away. She was basically watching YouTube because that's what she wanted. We were singing these, it's kind of like nursery rhymes, for kids. There was like 5 little monkeys jumping on a bed and songs like that. She likes hearing all these songs, and YouTube is mainly English, so she listens to those and then she sings them, and she's actually pretty good at English. Right now, her favorite song is Barbie Girl. They've been playing it in her kindergarten, I think. She also loves Let It Be, the Frozen one. But Barbie Girl, my brother tells me, every day when she comes home from kindergarten, she comes to get his iPad or phone and says Barbie Girl, and then she listens to that for a while winding down from a day in kindergarten. And remember, our kindergarten isn't the same as in the US. This is basically a place where kids is from age 3 to around 6 when they're going to school. And they don't, they aren't supposed to do schoolwork. It's playtime. It doesn't have anything to do with school. It's just the name of it, kindergarten. Some of them, teach the kids. I mean, they teach them to count to I don't know how much, and some of them encourage the older kids to learn, to write their names and maybe their parents' names, stuff like that, But nothing really school related, just the names. So that is basically what kindergarten is here. And they take, day trips, and they're outside a whole lot. She is in a sports kindergarten, where they're doing a lot of activities and outdoor activities. And when she gets a little older, they will do, well, not gymnastics, but, use their body a whole lot. And they do, I mean, my brother tells me they have excursions basically every other day or so. So, yeah, that's good. Sorry. Monday they had been out on the playground. So when I picked her up, she had sand all over. I mean, her rubber boots, because it's been wet in Denmark lately, her rubber boots were all, I playfully told her, "Oh, Rosa, you have an entire sandbox in your rubber boots," and she was laughing. "Yes, but I played in the sand, Auntie. I said, I can see that." So I emptied out her rubber boots. Her rubber boots, yeah. And she was laughing. Like, "It was so fun." I said, "I bet it was." "So were you making patty cakes?" Like, "No, we were building castles, and just, they have a swing there. They have slides. So, yeah. It had been a good day. They had learned a new song. So when I picked her up, there were only 3 kids, and they were having their afternoon snack. So yeah, they were sitting there, and then when I came and I asked, "What have you been doing today?" The other 2 kids, who's a little older than Rosa, started singing that song, and Rosa was, kind of singing along, and the kindergarten teachers, they were like, "Yeah, they were learning a new song today, but they haven't really gotten all the word correctly," because I was like, "That's not correct, that." But anyway, they liked it, and I sang it with them a few times. And then Rosa was done with her afternoon snack. So we said goodbye and see you tomorrow. And then got out and got ready to get to our house. That's when I saw that how tired she was when we got in the car. But again, she was so hungry when we came home. She had some, well, first she got some biscuits because she wanted chips, and yeah, we had chips, but then she didn't want chips, so she got some biscuits. Then she wanted cucumber. I mean, I did give her a big load of cucumber, like a quarter of a cucumber, because she loves cucumber. So she ate that, and then she wanted these little cheese sticks that we have in Denmark, kind of like, for kids. They don't really taste of a whole lot, I'm told, but kids love them. Yeah. And then just before I was taking her home, she wanted rye bread. And I'm like, "Sweetheart, you're going home to Daddy to eat dinner." And that is when I mean, she had about a 30-minute nap sitting with me, which was so comfy that I took a 10-minute nap with her, apparently. But yeah, sorry. I'm still hoping for this yawning to stop one day. But yeah, anyway. So that half an hour nap wasn't enough because he was still tired. And when she is tired, she gets, she doesn't want to do things. She didn't want to go home, and she was crying a little, and she didn't want to have a nappy change. She is working on getting out of her nappy, her diapers. And my brother had told me, you can just take it off of her for a few hours. And I'm like, she's so tired. So he will never in a million years tell me when she's going to when she has to use the bathroom. So I'm like, yeah, we don't do that today. She's so tired. And yeah. So she didn't want that, and she didn't want to go home to daddy, and she didn't want to stay here. It was a whole thing, and then eventually I was like, look, sweetheart, we're going home to daddy. You're allowed to be tired. It's okay if you cry, but that doesn't change the fact that we are now going out, taking on our shoes and our jackets, and drive home to daddy. And the second, I took her out to get her dressed, she stopped again. She was just so tired that she couldn't, she didn't, oh, how to say that? It was just a little overwhelming that she had to do something. So me just basically grabbing her and taking her out to where the door is, and giving her her rubber boots on and her jacket. That kind of helped, because then she didn't have to do anything really. She just had to follow along. And she didn't fall asleep on the way home, which was like, that was kind of impressive. I mean, we do have to drive, 10, 12 minutes or so. So several times she's been falling asleep on that short road. But she didn't, because we were singing. She wanted to sing that Five Little Monkeys, and I always make noise, voices. So it's kind of like Mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, "No more monkeys jumping on the bed." And she was like, "Yeah, doctor is angry." And she's like, "Yes, the doctor is angry because the monkeys are hurting themselves." Yes. So yeah. So she was occupied with that. And then when we came home to her, we were like sitting a few seconds in the car just talking about, next week, and if the weather was okay, we would drive a little earlier to gymnastics, because that is at a school. So we'd be able to play on the playground around the school if it was dry and, not raining, because she's been talking about wanting to play at the playground. But most of the time it's like when we're done and she has to go home to eat, her dinner and go to bed. So I'm like, we can do that next week if the weather is okay. And apparently my brother had been outside, maybe with the trash or something, because he came over to the car and opened the door, and Rosa was like looking up at him and said, "Hi, Daddy, we're talking." Like, yeah. So I walked with them in, and my brother and I was just talking while Rosa was showing me all the things that she has, and all her toys. I know all the toys by now, but and then she showed me some of the Halloween decorations that they had put up in the house. It wasn't a lot, but just a little. And she told him about the witch and the other decorations that we have outside. We have bought this kind of like big witch that can, cackle. It's like, ha, 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 And Rosa loved it. She got to push the button several times to make her laugh or cackle, whatever you want to call it. And she was telling her daddy, my brother, about that. And then just when I was about to leave, she looked at me and said, Auntie, when can I come eat with you? It's like, so you want to come and have dinner with Auntie and Uncle? It's like, yes. So, I mean, we would have to find a day when you and Daddy can come and have dinner with us. Okay, she said. And I told David when he came home from work, I was like, we need to find a day and where where Rosa and her dad could come out here because Rosa want to have dinner out here. It's like, oh, okay. It has to wait a little because most of our weekends are a little booked. This Sunday I have pumpkin carving with the Owners Association out here. Because I'm in the board of that Owners Association, I'm kind of like one of the planners, so I have to be there. And I have to make coffee, and I need to bake a cake. But it was fun. Last year was so much fun. That was the first time we did it. And everybody said like, oh, please do that again, and we'll stop by. And yeah, so that is going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully we have 14 15 kids that is gonna be there, so we'll see. Last year we had around this, I don't know how many kids were there last year, maybe 10 or so, because it was the first time. And yeah, so I can't wait to see what the kids are gonna make this year. It's really funny to see them work on their pumpkins. Some of them have their parents to help because some of them aren't very old. But it's so funny, and it's kind of like, I have never been one of those holiday people, I'm not a big fan of Christmas. And Easter, well, we only do the Easter dinners to, see family, but we'll see, because now we don't have my mother-in-law here anymore. And we'll have to see. But it's kind of funny because I've begun thinking that Halloween is kind of funny, because you get to, the kids have fun, and you get to see them being all happy and jolly and trying to scare people, and I'm scaring them. 2 years ago, we had a lot of fun when they came and knocked on the door, rung the doorbell. I was just yanking the door open and say, what? And they was jumping half a foot or something like that. And then they were laughing because they thought it was funny that I was scaring them right back. And a lot of them are like, your house is so cool. And they were telling, if they met some of their friends, go to that house. That one is so cool. I think that's why we had almost 60 kids dropping by. And that's kind of funny, to see the kids, and sometimes, because our neighbors are telling the, people they know about, oh, go see that house. So when I'm in here, I can see some people just walk by, to take a look. And kind of like, sometimes it's like, okay, we need to go out and see, okay, where can we go on Halloween with the kids? So, yeah, I hope a bunch of kids will show up. Otherwise, we need to eat a lot of candy, which I don't mind eating a lot of candy, but it's not healthy, I need to get a grip on myself again after this year. It's been too much fast food, too much candy, too much soda, too much everything. So, yeah, 2024 is gonna be better, I think. We have begun, to cook in the weekends. That has been a big issue, that when David is home on the weekends, we would just, eat rye bread or candy or whatever we had in the house, just because none of us had any excess energy to cook. So now we are trying to get back on track with the cooking in the weekends. We did both days this past weekend, and this coming weekend I'm going to do some chili con carne so that we have for 2 days, because of that pumpkin carving. I won't be home and help with the cooking, so that'll be better just having it ready. You can just heat it, and then you can have pasta one day and you can have rice the next day. And usually I make a bunch, so I will probably have for a few days after for myself when David is at work, which is good because that means that I will remember to eat something, hopefully. That's the thing with me. I don't feel hunger. I never have. Well, as a child, yes. But as an adult, because of my mom's sickly ideas of weight, and when people were fat, I was basically told as a child I was fat, even though, I wasn't. I was healthy. I was even skinny at one point. But my mom would say, fat, fatter Mia, and, if you don't watch it, you'll look like your grandmother and your cousin that was overweight, and, and somehow that ended up me having, I don't have an appetite. I don't feel when I'm hungry. And I think that's just my body, reacting to all that for years. So that mentally it's like, well, if I'm not hungry, I don't eat, which isn't healthy, because we all know when you don't eat, the body takes in everything you do eat and makes it into fats. So that is not good. So that I am trying. I do have breakfast every day because David makes sure of that. And I'm trying to remember to eat at least something for dinner. I don't always get lunch, but that isn't the best, the baddest, That's not the worst thing. But I do try to get 2 meals in a day. And some days it works, other days it doesn't. I'm very good at, ending up just occupying myself and then forget to eat. So yeah. And I've been yabbing on for more than an hour. I was actually worried that I wouldn't have anything to talk about today because, yeah. But I've been talking for an hour and 5 minutes or so. Yeah. So we're gonna end it here. Otherwise, you'll be listening to me forever. But before I end, remember to watch last week's Wip Chat, because you might find something near the end of it. But yeah, it was good seeing you here. I hope you enjoyed me yabbering on about my life and everything and nothing. And I hope I will see you in my next video. And I hope to see you in my live on Sunday. Then I will tell you all about the pumpkin carving and I don't know what. Yeah. So, don't forget the thumbs up. They do help a lot. And please, in the comment field, let me know how you're doing and let me know what you've been working on and everything. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, everybody. Love you.